guys, welcome to another Friday. And if you're a subscriber, thank you so much for being a subscriber. And if you're not yet a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel and give my video a thumbs up. And today's video is going to be focused on illustration style portraits, and we're gonna use this reference picture of my family. It's an Easter picture from a few years ago, and we're gonna do it in illustration style. So let's get to it. For this painting, we're gonna use a Canson sheet of paper. It's 9x12, and then I'm gonna use my Arteza watercolors on my palette, and then I'm gonna use a number HB pencil just to do my sketch. So let's start with sketching the figures first, and then we're gonna go over with the watercolors. I start by sketching my figures slowly, and then obviously my style is I exaggerate the heads really big, and then I make the arms really skinny, and I make little ears for the boys. The girls, you can't see the ears, but they will have small ears. And the eyes, I love making big eyes. I think eyes is like what makes the whole painting, so I like to make them really big, except for my boy. His eyes are kind of closed, so I skipped that part. I decided to add a banner with our last name, which is Hooper, so I wrote the Hoopers. I go over some details, and now I'm gonna grab a black pen and I'm gonna go over all the details and my style. I don't go over all the lines, just kind of halfway, depending how I feel about it. And then I just want to make sure that you guys understand the pen you're gonna use. This is a ball pen, but it has to be waterproof. So if you're gonna use ink, make sure it's waterproof ink, because there is ink that is not waterproof, and then you're just gonna ruin your whole painting once you start going over with the watercolors, because of the water is just gonna bleed all over your painting and completely ruin it. So any pen you're gonna use, a fine liner, any kind of pen, make sure it is waterproof ink. Now that I'm done going over with my sketch, I just erase the pencil and I'm ready to start with the watercolors. And I pick my colors with my reference picture, and then as you guys can see, I don't go all the way through, and that's just to create some depth. I leave white spots that later on I just add other colors to it and kind of layer it, just the same way you do it with a realism picture. And then I create some depth by putting different variations of the color, like you see in this sweater. And then I create shadows with a darker color of the same color, and I do the same throughout the whole painting. At this point, I decided to change the font on the letters of my last name, and I pick a more kind of old-fashioned lettering. I'm not very good at lettering, so I just did my best here. With the skin, I do exactly the same thing. I layer the colors, I create depth, I create shadows with different variations of the same color, and I just keep going all the way throughout all the faces and all the skin tones. Now I start with my pupils. I make sure I leave some highlights, some spaces blank in them so they kind of pop out when I put the color around. And as you can see, there's some pieces I don't paint that like those little kind of reflections of the light that I want to pretend it's there. And then I just keep going, creating more depth around the eye. And now I'm gonna do the background. I'm not gonna do the whole background, just kind of suggest the background in the painting, just so that the characters are the ones that pop out and make the painting. The background is not important really. Here I'm creating shadows in my banner so it pops out and it looks a little bit more realistic.
This is it. We're all done doing our illustration and it came out so good. I'm really happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed and I'll see you next time. I just realized I didn't do my husband's beard and I guess I was just going for his current look.